Oh, yes. This is the Hardcore Marketing Show. I'm Casey Cheshire, your host for this epic journey. And today's show, sponsored by Cheshire Impact, on a mission to help people maximize their use of Pardot and Salesforce. CheshireImpact.com. Bam. Hey, everyone. Before we get started with the show, I'm excited to announce two things. First is that my book, Marketing Automation Unleashed, is now live on Amazon. So go get it. The second thing is we have a new sponsor, Qualified.com. I'm going to tell you about them in the next couple seconds here, and also how you can get a free copy of my book thanks to them. So who are these people? Well, Qualified is the #1 live chat and chatbot platform for Salesforce and Pardot. Sales reps can have real-time personalized conversations with who? Your hottest website visitors. So I want you to know, I don't just partner with anyone. I genuinely love these guys. And the platform, we use it at my company. Our sales team loves it. We've closed a lot of deals based on it, had a lot of great conversations with prospects too. So, a lot of marketing these days is what? Hurry up and wait, right? Fill out this form. And then if we pass you over to sales, maybe you'll swap 6 emails with them to find a good time to talk. But what if a prospect is doing research right now and they would chat now? Why not give them the opportunity? So the best part is your company actually decides what leads are worth a live chat. There's a lot of noise out there. You don't want to talk to everyone. So Qualified actually connects to Salesforce and Pardot, and it's able to pull in lead and contact information so you can specifically know if you're talking to a VIP, a VP, a decision maker. It's really kind of like magic. Now, if you don't know who someone is, well, what happens then, Casey? Well, that's when the bots come in handy. Chatbots can then ask questions to further qualify a lead, find out if maybe this is someone you do want to talk to. And they can book meetings while your sales team is out. And they can wake up the next morning with a bunch of meetings on their calendar. Now, here's the promo. If you are a company that wants to give your sales team this ability, right, to be able to talk to decision makers right when they're on your website, do this. Go to qualified.com and start a chat, right? They use their own tool, of course. Start a chat. Tell them that Casey sent you. If you have Salesforce Pardot, when you schedule and then do a demo, they will send you a free copy of my book, Marketing Automation Unleashed. Not bad, right? Well, it's only while supplies last. So hop on this thing today. And that's it for sponsors. Let's get to the show.
Right. Here we are. I'm in Studio B in my coronavirus basement, coming at you live. This is an exciting one. We're going to bring you all sorts of amazing topics here today. I'm excited to introduce my guest. She is a marketing technology professional. She's a conversational marketing trailblazer and evangelist, the senior marketing specialist at Financial Recovery Technologies. Allison Gosman, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Casey. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, this is so cool. And you're surviving. You got enough TP, good on the food.
Oh yeah, we're posted up here in Boston and got our supplies and enjoying the nice spring weather that we've had recently, besides the snowstorm that came last week for a short
I know. Random snow, and it hailed the other day too.
Yeah.
Craziness. But yeah, I think it was
hanging
30.
In there.
Good. I think it was like 38 the other day, and I was like, oh, good weather today.
Oh, yeah.
But I hope it gets a little bit warmer.
Spring is upon us.
Yes. We could use a little warm weather to clean out the air here, for sure.
Definitely.
So, hey, you're here. It's amazing. We finally connected. I know we've been scheduling this thing for a while, and we are going to chat about all things conversational marketing. We're going to talk maybe a little bit about health and fitness, because I know you got some expertise there. And we're just going to have a good old time here today, virtually, doing our social distancing on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I want to pass you this. This right now is a virtual Thor's hammer, so that we don't pass any viruses.
Thank you.
Take Thor's hammer and smash for me some kind of myth or bogus strategy, some misconception in the marketing world that maybe just drives you crazy.
Yeah, I think there is a lot going on in the marketing industry right now. There's a lot of tools that are accessible to all industries. I mean, I'm in financial services, but whether you're in technology, whether you're in e-commerce, whether you're in the sports industry, I mean, you name it. So I think there is this misconception. I mean, One of the big tools that has become a lot more popular, I feel like recently, is conversational marketing. And
Okay,
those
yeah.
what people think they are, what they actually are, what most people think of conversational marketing, or the definition is that chatbot on a website. It's
Right.
an tool that people are like, why is this showing up on my browser? Get this away. I don't need this. I'm going to find the information on my own. And I think really what this myth is that it's really only used for service and for B2C companies. They think of it, okay, this is a call center that's located somewhere in the middle of nowhere or overseas. They may not have the best English. How am I supposed to get the information that I'm looking for? I don't have enough time. Or if you're shopping on a website and you're looking for a couch, and you're like, this is the color that I want, this is the style, this is the
Right.
price, they'll spit out exactly what you're looking for. Think that most people think that is really the only reason that it's used for.
Right.
When in actuality, it can be leveraged and used more in B2B and in technology companies, which we have seen a lot of return on our investment for our conversational marketing tools here at FRT. We've used it in a way for lead generation purposes, which has been great. I mean, we had a deal close within a week, and most sales cycles, especially in B2B and in technology, that is extremely quickly.
A week?
In a week.
Holy cow.
I mean, there is a lot of work that comes to put it in the back end. I mean, again, people have this misconception that it's always a person on the other side. It doesn't necessarily always have to be a person. You can set up some experiences. You can have it be and leverage technology and automation so that you don't have a headcount that's sitting by a computer and in the chat waiting for someone to come through. Yes, that may be more effective for B2C. And for example, I mean, I was on the phone trying to get a hold with my bank earlier this week, and I chatted in, and I mean, right now all chat rooms are really closed given distancing and everything, but normally there has to be a person on the other side, which again, that's not true either. So yes, it's not necessarily always used for service in B2C. It can be used in B2B, but it doesn't always have to be a person. It can be a robot, I guess people would say, but it doesn't have to be live, and you can still get the results and of what you're looking for by setting that up.
Wow, you're smashing like pent-up aggression from probably being stuck in the same place for too long. This is awesome. There's a lot of things going on here. So first of all, the chatbot, not just B2C, and then you eventually got into it's not always it has to be a person the other end. We'll have to separate these things out. This is really cool. So not just for B2C, you're right, where we're used to just, chatting up some consumer thing, but it doesn't have to just be in the consumer space. I think we're seeing that, right? We're seeing it coming over to the B2B world, and it sounds like it's been effective for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have it up on our website. We have it on various landing pages, different web pages, whether it's product, whether it's our blog, whether it's our resources. And we have those experiences set up. So, I mean, for our homepage, we positioned it and created the messaging to get more information on who our website visitors actually are. So it's kind of
right.
You imagine a marketing funnel of it going top of funnel, MQL, SQL, closed one. We pictured this as, okay, our homepage. Let's think about why someone lands on our homepage and get more information try to get more information of who they are, but more importantly of what they're looking for. So if they're coming to our homepage as a first step, let's guide them quickly and more effectively to what they're really looking for. So whether it is going right to our blogs, they're looking for some industry news, whether it's going to one of our product pages, whether it's going to our career pages. I mean, we've leveraged it for human resources department, because if someone is just going around different web pages and they're really looking for some interest of getting more involved in the company, let's get them right to that page right away.
Yeah.
And same for contact us. I mean, if there is a prospect out there that immediately, I mean, for the deal that closed within a week, they knew exactly what they were looking for and they wanted that information right away. So they contacted us directly. Let's get them right to that page, right to that form to fill out the information that they're looking for.
Yeah, I love that you call it experiences too, because it kind of harkens back to like the customer experience, the buyer's journey.
Yeah.
It's an experience when you come in. It's not just the chat window. Tell me about that deal in a week. So they came in. Did they hit this kind of experience window that was like, where do you want to go? Like, do you know much of the path that happened?
Yeah, so we were using a different provider than we use now. We were using Drift at the time. Now we use Qualified,
Okay, cool. We'll talk about
where
those.
Qualified has a bit more integration with Salesforce and with Pardot, and kind of leveraging those insights that's in each tool. But with Drift, I mean, we had similar experiences that we do now, and it was really more the individual came to our website. They were on the homepage,
Yeah.
and they wanted to contact us immediately to get information. I mean, we're in an industry where it's revolved around class action monitoring and recovery. So there was a case coming up. They knew that they had a deadline that they needed to hit, and they wanted to get in touch with someone right away.
Got it.
So they went through that experience. Okay, what are you looking for? You want to contact us immediately. It took them to that form, and then it kind of went through the lead gen process of filling out the form. We get notified. We pass it on to sales, and so forth.
Got
But
it.
it was they had an intent, knew exactly what they were looking for, had a timeline, and that's why it closed so quickly. But
That's
without
amazing.
the chatbot, it could have taken them a little while longer. They would have had to find our um, email distribution list. They would have had to go into Outlook and things like that, where they were able really just to click through, write a short few notes of what they were looking for, and it was easy as that.
Yeah, I like that. It's so quick and it makes it for better experience. That
Hmm.
seems like that's the theme. And so what happened what happens when someone like they went from the chat right to your contact us, they filled that out. Is that what happened? And then do you have some kind of triggers behind the scenes to like let sales know this is a hot burning love of a lead that wants to contact us right now?
Yep. So we have it set up with marketing automation. It creates a lead in Salesforce, gathers all that information
Nice.
in that lead record. It gets notified to the sales rep. They get it. Then marketing on behalf will also send a message too, just to make sure that they saw it. It's a hot lead. Let's follow up right away. But it's really kind of passing that off to the next stakeholder.
Yeah, I like that. Now, I was getting really excited when you mentioned the different kinds of options and understanding what people are looking for and then giving them like a shortcut to it. Walk me through the process. How did you do that? Because I'd love to set that up too. I'd love to figure out, okay, what do people really want? And let's just give it to them in the chat bot
Yeah,
window.
definitely. So at the time when we were implementing this, we really had a brainstorming session about what those different scenarios would be.
Hmm.
So I put myself in the visitor's shoes and tried to really think about, okay, if I'm going to the homepage, are all the options I'm looking for from there? And then
Right.
if I'm on a product page, again, what are all the things that I'm trying to get out of from here? And on the besides being on the visitor side for FRT, I mean, we also thought about kind of what information are we looking to get from them.
Hmm.
So it was twofold. So for us, we wanted to think about, okay, if they're on this one product page, let's figure out, what process do they have in place right now? Can we see if we can get more information on maybe if they're using a competitor, or what are some of the challenges that they're dealing with? So it was thinking along both sides and really bridging that gap and putting the puzzle pieces together to build those out. And I won't say that it was something that you can do in a day. It really took some time, and um, putting the story together at least in a couple of days, and then taking a step back and letting it digest, and then revisiting it, because you want to make sure that you're thinking about everything from all points of view, and having it be as in breath and uh, effective as possible, so that you can go back and strategically edit it, but at the
Right.
same time making sure that at least the first time around it's not something that you're going to have to do multiple times.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the site right now. It's frtservices.com for those listening. You want to check this thing out, or if you need some services, um,
Oh
right? Either way, like both maybe.
yeah.
And you accept the cookie, warning, and then after that, the box pops up, and it's like, "Hi there, welcome to FRT. Let's make sure you get connected to the right resource. Where can we help direct you to?" choose your FRT journey. I like that. It seems friendly. It seems a little bit fun, like where it's like, come on, it's like choose your journey adventure or something like.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what you were saying about experience. I mean, this is
Yeah.
really all about the prospect or client experience. And I will say that we do have an option on there. If they are a client, we'll be able to get or probe some questions, get more information to get them to where they're looking for. A lot of our clients will come to our website and they'll want to go to the client portal. We have
Mm,
a call to action on the website. We haven't dedicated URL to get there, but we found that a lot of our visitors, that's what they were coming to our webpage for.
right.
Want to make sure that we're getting them to where they want to be as quickly as possible so that no time is wasted. I mean, we all know these days that time is of the essence at times.
It is. It is. Unless you're stuck in your house, but it's
That
still
is
the
true.
essence. Actually, it's even more important now, right? Like every
Yeah,
lead triple counts now to make sure we're actually, following up and doing whatever we can right now during this time. Yeah,
yeah,
the
definitely.
options. Let's. You talked us through a couple of them. They're really interesting. So there's the client portal, which you talked about, and that was like that number one thing. Your clients are just looking for your portal. They're like, "Where the heck is it?" And you can kind
Hmm.
of save them the frustration because they're your valuable customers. You want them to just
Yeah.
know where it is. Cool. You didn't bookmark it like you should have. Okay, no problem. Click on the chatbot. Here it goes. Now you get to the portal. What about the other ones? Product information, educational content, careers, other. You mentioned the careers one already.
Yeah, so I think educational content is another thing that I definitely want to highlight
Yeah.
because with Qualified, that is the provider that we use right now, we're actually able to leverage the chatbot on our landing pages. So again, this is where the piece
Awesome.
is for B2B companies of thinking about how to integrate this in your tool suite for lead generation and nurturing prospects through the marketing funnel. So if they're looking for like you want that's a hot lead that's downloading a piece of content.
Mm,
So that's really kind of why part of why we implemented this was to be able to increase our lead gen, um, maximize our lead gen process,
mhm.
and really make sure that we're getting qualified leads that we're passing on to sales. So that educational piece is for those website visitors that are looking to learn more about industry news or some reports that we put together on year in reviews or um, top topics that are going on in the industry. And so that resources page is where all those gated pieces of content live. And
Right.
then it gets the click through goes to our dedicated landing pages where that chatbot can transition to. And again, there it just helps us and helps them figure out kind of what they're looking for. And then for us, gather as much information so that we're putting things in front of them and sending them to the right place that they're able to get as much information of what they're looking for and fits into their needs.
Right. I like this. And I clicked on educational content and it's like, cool, what's your email address? So there's a little bit of that capturing that you can start the nurturing right away type of thing.
Yeah,
That's
and I
really
think that's one thing that people may hesitate towards asking for email
cool.
addresses
Mm,
right away. I mean, with data and kind of security in the marketplace right now, there is a lot of um, myths, I guess you could say, or there are a lot of issues around people being comfortable sharing their information.
we
So
smash myths here, so go ahead.
I know. So
What's
I
the
think
myth?
that component there, I mean, it's really more again, okay, if we have a quality prospect and a quality lead, they'll put their email in there because they're really interested. So it's just a gateway there for us to be able to filter through our visitors to make sure and to really get a better understanding of what's going to be quality and what's not.
Right. Right. Really get a sense for, is this person worth following up on?
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
we serve them better? Absolutely.
Hmm.
That makes sense. This is really cool. And people have been putting their emails in there in the
Yeah,
chat.
I mean, we've implemented this for probably a little over a year now.
Oh wow.
Again, there are some things that are out of our control. Again, what's going on in society today.
Right. Tell me about it.
I think
Yeah.
that there are some shifts that we need to make. But at the same time, we've gotten a handful of leads from this, and they've been quality, and they've been deals that have gone through the pipeline, are still being worked on. But at the same time, we've definitely seen activity in emails be submitted.
That makes sense. And you really got me thinking because I think a lot of times when we talk about nurturing, sometimes we get too focused on the people who are going to buy in like 6 months, but we
Yeah.
forget to really cater to the people who already made up their mind, and they might just write us a check tomorrow or in a week
Hmm.
if we answer their question as fast as possible, or like reach out and say hi. So I think sometimes, yes, there's the nurture folks, and we'll get them. We'll get a little nurture set up and maybe a complex one, but either way, we'll get some information, let them do their research. But the ones that are ready to go, like being there and giving them the red carpet treatment, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. And there's really a right time and a right place for everything. So that's the thing. I mean, sure, everyone can relate to that. There are prospects who are already have a contract in place, and that may not be up for another year or two,
Yeah,
but they're still looking for information right now, and they'll put their email address in. So, like you said, that they are a quality prospect, but it's more now of, okay, how can we continue the conversation? How can we keep giving them information and resources that will help them when the time comes to be able to turn to us? And that goes to where the data is really important for this, and how Qualified is integrated into our Salesforce instance. And we're able to pull all that together so that we can create these experience of, okay, we know this prospect is pretty far along, sales has already been in touch, now is not the right time. We won't keep plugging and pushing them to contact us. We'll give them something else that's related to some enhancements we've made in the portal or new piece of
right.
thought leadership, just to keep us top of mind. So there's a lot you can do with these conversational marketing tools, and really keeping having those experiences be unique, but having it not be too aggressive.
Right. Huh. I like it. It's
Yeah.
cool. I love this topic, and I love learning from you. And there's some real practical, tactical items here that we're learning. And it's like, you can deploy this thing. Like, think about your customer experience. Get this stuff on your site. Like, I'm intrigued. I'm inspired. I want to make sure we update our, because we've got chat on there, but it's like, how can we help you? But man, to give people
Yeah.
some options. So, I mean, everyone asks you, how can I help you? But if you're like, hey, would you like to get
Which
into
those
this or
knowledge
this?
bases are great resources. Again, I was looking through something else, another one of my subscriptions, looking to unfortunately pause it, just given that we are in quarantine right now. It was actually Rent the Runway, and instead I emailing them first, I did look through their FAQs. So
Mhm.
that is something that is definitely useful for this, is to have a knowledge base where someone can go to and have those most frequently asked questions. I'm working on a blog series right now of FAQs for each of our products and services, so that those common questions can be answered. But then at the same time, still, if someone's on that page, still giving them other information related to that product and service, with the chatbot and with the data and kind of all those different areas that they may be touching.
Oh,
If
I
they're
like
on,
that.
for example, another landing page, we can put those parameters in the back end and set that experience up so that, okay, they're on a landing page for our antitrust recovery product. Let's put in front of them those FAQs just in case they're looking for more.
Right. Right. And then you can see that, you can see what they're looking at, you can get into their mind to be able to predict, oh, you're probably looking for one of these top three questions.
Yeah.
They get asked all the time. Here you go.
Hmm.
That makes so much sense. You mentioned qualified, you mentioned drift. Talk us through, like, qualified. You switched platforms. Is there something better about, and you mentioned the Pardot connection. I know we worked together with Pardot for a while. Take me through that process of like looking at the different vendors. What's your take on the general marketplace these days?
Yeah, I think that it's really just coming up in the marketplace. So I
Yeah.
think there are a couple of options right now. Again, a lot are B2C and service focused. So for lead gen and for B2B and for sales and marketing, there's only a couple out there. Again, it's figuring out what your needs are, what your requirements, what your bandwidth are too. For us at FRT, we're a lean team. So that's why we really use it as solely as a chatbot. And we have these experiences built out on the back end. You can use some tools, and some features are where there is a live person behind it. You get your sales team involved, and they're able
Right.
to change right away when one of their top prospects is on the website. So for every firm, it's different. You just have to figure out what your priorities are and how much time you have and where this falls into your tool suite and the importance of it.
Got it. Okay. Good to know.
It
Yeah.
was funny actually because when we were implementing Drift, and I mean this goes to when you're implementing any type of tool, that we had the chatbot up and it was implemented, it was on the website, and it ended up actually being my profile on there. So we had some of my coworkers that were joking around and we're chatting, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? And I freaked out a little bit and then was able to kind of reset it all. But
Yeah.
it goes into having the right implementation process
Yep.
and going through those steps diligently.
Okay.
So it wasn't for too long. It wasn't like it was overnight. It was only the afternoon when I set it up. But it was pretty funny.
So, like, did people think they were talking to you when they were chatting with the
Yeah.
bot? Yeah. I
But
guess it
that's
can be
you
dangerous
have
too,
a
right?
sales rep tied in there.
Yeah.
You have it unique, and people want to talk to people. That's the one other myth too here, is that people are hesitant to talk to chatbots,
Hmm.
but it is a very effective tool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and to your other point too, the idea we don't want to trick people. Like, I think that was the lame use of the chat bot would be, I'm not really a bot, and it's like, you're totally a bot. I can
Yeah.
smell it with the very first response. It was too fast. It was too this, like, and then it's like, it's gross. But if you're just open and honest, and you're like, hey, this is more of just like a window to help you sneak through the longer navigation.
Yeah.
Nobody balks at that.
Yep. Definitely.
Man, this is crazy. Talk to me about marketing automation, because I know you're a power user of marketing automation and a big fan of it. Like, how do you kind of like connect the two together? And then, is marketing automation still relevant when you've got the chat going on?
Yeah, so I manage obviously our Pardot and our lead generation efforts and our marketing automation campaigns. And I think it's really a great tool. I mean, you can talk to any marketer and they're not using just one tool in their toolbox. It's multiple. So
Right.
this is something conversational marketing that you can put everything else aside and just focus on this. It's all really a group effort, and everything comes together to form that umbrella that is makes your marketing programs very effective.
Right.
And so I think that is definitely holds true. I mean, you need the content to be able to create the experiences in the chatbot. You need prospect lists to be able to gather the data and be able to create those buyers' journeys,
Yeah.
and everything along that lines. And then it's really important that you're working closely with sales. I think that's one of my main tips for maximizing marketing automation is to align marketing and sales. You want to work with them to be able to determine what criteria they're looking for, what are the best practices for lead nurturing, and be able to pass on the most qualified leads to their team. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are closing deals. So be in contact with them and figure out what their needs are, what they like, and really make that happen.
That's cool that you said that. Like, I always like to ask people, especially when they've been using marketing automation for a while, um, their number one tip. And it's interesting. Your tip isn't like, oh, make sure you use dynamic lists or something. It's like, hey, your end customer of this work you're doing is sales. Make sure they know what you're doing, and like
Yeah.
align with them and make sure you're giving them what they want. Don't just hang out in your tech all day long in isolation. That's such a powerful tip, right? It's
Yeah.
like, get outside the tech and think about who's downline from it, who is going to be receiving all this stuff, the alerts, the notifications, the leads, quote unquote, if they are or aren't. They're the most important ones.
Yeah. No, definitely.
What about the future? I know we're kind of like all locked in our basements, and you have a window, which is awesome.
Yes, the sunlight in here is nice.
100%. I built this home office like a couple years ago and have been going to an actual office, but then it's nice to every now and then have this, but there's no windows. So I've been kind of like,
Yeah.
got to make sure I step outside and go for a walk every now and then. Otherwise, I turn into a vampire. So, you know. Question for you though, the future. I don't know if you can see past the next couple months, but we're outside the tunnel. We've come through. We're out. We can able go in public now. Social distancing is gone. It's replaced by hugs for everyone, right? So what's exciting you about marketing, or is there anything that's coming around the bend that you want to take a closer look at?
Yeah, well, I think that conversational marketing, I think it's just at the beginning. I think that there's a
Yeah.
lot to look forward to. There's a lot of developments that are going to be happening, and I mean, even for us, bringing on our sales team to be able to have them get more involved and book meetings. There's a lot of features around that. Again, I spoke about aligning marketing and sales, and so I think for conversational marketing, there's definitely that opportunity there. It's already there, but there will be more to be able to help the sales effort.
That's
And
a
then I
great point.
think too exactly what we're doing right now. I think podcasts are going to become huge. I mean, you even see in the past few weeks with this social distancing that everything's going virtual.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's always been those virtual meetings and the webinars, but podcasts are definitely going to spike. They already are, but there's going to be an increase in using that. I mean, it's quick content, it's easily accessible on any device, and people like that. That's what people want. They want something that's easy, that's useful, and that's can give them what they're looking for right away. So I think those two things kind of go hand in hand.
They really do. Do you guys have a podcast yet?
We don't, but we're exploring those options for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I find whoever's doing it, if it's their jam, then it's just fun. It's not even work. So this is like definitely not even work for me. Though it creates great content, like you never run out of content after these, an hour-long conversation about conversational marketing. Man, all the tweets we can tweet about this, all the little clips we could create a blog post about this. So much content comes out of it. And usually that's people's, Achilles heels. They don't have the content to power the marketing automation or the chat. So it
Hmm.
definitely is a content bonanza. Like I have plenty of too much content. We have too much content, right? So people are like, stop
Can
talking
never have
about
too much content.
it. Oh, it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, podcasts are definitely interesting. You got to still make a good show, but I guess if you're speaking to your audience, and I've always said, like, if you make a show that you would enjoy listening to, then other people will too.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll probably talk about it a little later when I get into some of my hobbies. But I actually listen to podcasts when I run, so my
Oh,
a long commute. But there's really all there's never a time that you don't have the opportunity to listen to a podcast if you want to.
it's so true. What do you like to listen to?
So I have really been into it's on NPR, How I Built This.
Oh yeah,
How companies got started and really their story and the strategies behind that. I've really been into Origins podcast. I listened most recently to how the cast of Curb Your Enthusiasm that they just released season 10. So I was very excited about that. You can't miss
sweet.
it on Serial, those crime ones.
I
But
like the first one. I didn't like the second season. It was like,
yeah,
nah, okay,
yeah.
whatever. But the first one was like, oh my, what do you think? Did he do it or didn't he do it?
I know, it's hard. I only listened to the first season, so I haven't been on second. But
No, just the first season. Do you think he
oh, the
did it?
first season, I think he definitely did it, but everyone
Yeah,
could have mixed opinions there. And then
yeah,
the Daily, they post great podcasts just to understand what's going on
yep,
in society. And then Robin Hood Snacks, I'll give them a plug. You get your 20-minute market news, which is great, especially for I feel like the millennial generation that isn't used to, or some people are, but going through the newspaper or turning on CNN or Market Watch or channels like
yeah.
that. That Snacks really gives the information in a very easily digestible way.
Yeah,
To
there's something for everyone, right? Not even
yeah,
just everyone. There's like different varieties of every topic.
yeah,
Marketing, stocks, reporting, fitness, mystery, and
hmm
there's all different kinds. Some are highly edited, some are just conversations. And I'm a
yep,
big fan of like Joe Rogan's show and Tim
yep,
Ferriss, who are like polar opposites. Tim Ferriss is like super edited, super
yeah.
succinct, all prepped questions. Joe apparently preps nothing.
Oh
He does
wow,
zero prep. He shows up, hey buddy, how's it going? You know,
yeah,
now that's
good
not
for
that's a
him.
terrible Joe Rogan impression, but he's like, hey, maybe that's a
Yeah,
super high Joe Rogan impression. But
yeah.
either way,
But
yeah, there's
that's like
just
the whole thing with Larry David that like on
yeah,
I think the beginning episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, he would go because they're all improv, and he would go without even a script, without anything. And some of the cast members, I mean, they were saying that they were fortunate to have the improv experience because like they would have no idea what to expect. So you got to be quick on
Jeez.
your feet.
I didn't realize that. So he was just improvising for a lot of that?
Yeah, so if you Origins is great. So they do Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think ESPN 30 for 30 is another series on there. Sex and the City is on there.
Oh, wow.
So on to listening to some of those, but they're really interesting. I mean, it's great. I mean, in 45 minutes you can get a lot.
Yeah, I think the challenge is going to be like finding these things, There's
Yeah,
so much good content. And it's like,
content overload. So you just got to figure out what you like, but then it goes
yeah.
to
And like searching through and I mean, Netflix hasn't even figured out their filter because they still show me
I
crazy
know.
stuff. But I actually think it's like it's a conspiracy theory. I think Netflix wants you to watch some TV, but not too much TV
Yeah,
because they want you to binge, but then they also want you to not binge so they don't have to pay the TV show for the show. I don't
yeah.
know. I feel like they hide some stuff and they kind of like make it kind of blah. So I don't know. We actually
Yeah.
just got Disney Plus too, which is a
I
massive.
do have Disney Plus, which is great.
Yeah, and then they've got some like there's like a nostalgic section, which is like
Yeah.
all the old school good Disney movies.
Hmm.
So we've gone through a bunch of those. Also the ones that are like kind of like fun because they're like the 70s or the early 80s when stuff
Yeah.
was silly. But it's got like
Those
one.
classic Disney movies
Yeah,
that the kids now are not used to, where it's like, oh, how could you not watch that?
right. We just watched together like the Cat from Space or something. And
Yeah.
it was like super. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but like it's a cat. His name is Jake. He's from outer space. But like, check it
Yeah.
out. It's on Disney Plus. Highly recommend it.
That's like Xenon, that series.
See, no, is
Yeah,
that
Girl
on
of the
there?
21st Century, which I guess is almost going to be the 21st century. But that one was like one of the Disney original movies that I watched in my childhood, and it's on there. And it's like for kids growing up right now, that's not what they think of. I mean, they potentially, who knows if they still think of like High School Musical as a Disney movie. So there's a lot on there, which is good to see. I think it all goes back of that client experience and figuring out, getting that information. What are people looking for as the end user, and then what can you do to give them that? So it's like Disney Plus. You said it has that nostalgia genre or that category that you can go in and it'll give you what they think is all of the nostalgic movies. So it really can be used, those kind of scenarios of how it's thought out for many different experiences.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And we kind of like it affects how we buy other things because we're so used to
Yeah.
getting it the way we want it on some of these apps. It makes total sense. That it kind of just bringing back around on the podcast thing. Like it's giving the people to make their own content. And I think in the past there was video hosting apps, and it was like, well, I don't have a studio and I can't make it look super slick. But with podcasting, mostly people are listening. Like even this show, we
Yeah.
do have YouTube people. If you want to see our smiling faces, but I digress. Most people are listening like you. You're running, you're out doing something. You're probably not driving much lately, but like, you're
Yeah.
out and about or you're relaxing and you can just close your eyes and listen. And most people
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Cool. Well, here's my question. Like, who are you? How did you get all these experiences? Take us back to like little alley days.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm from Boston, 25 minutes outside the city. So born and raised Boston sports fan.
Yep.
For all you listeners who can relate. I grew up with three sisters, so a house of all girls. So you can only imagine that.
Wow.
One of the best to be able to put up with all of us. He's amazing. So there was definitely a lot of chaos, but it was a lot of fun to always be able to do an activity with someone. I do have a twin sister, so we live together now. So definitely always a partner in crime.
Nice. Where are you in like the ages? Are you two the older ones or the younger ones?
So we're in the middle. So we have an older sister and a younger sister. So the
Right.
younger
So it's
sister is
4
5 years
total.
younger. My older sister is 2 years older. So it's a good age difference, but it's definitely good. I mean, we did a lot of things together as a family, so I'm very family oriented. We're all in Boston now, so it's tough times right now not to be able to do our family dinners or things like that. Especially we're a family of 6, and then significant others along the way. So when they're like,
Jeez.
more than 10 people, sometimes may cause an issue, but right now we're making do.
Yeah, I mean, holidays and,
Yep.
sports events and all
The
that.
full house for
Yeah.
holidays, even going to sporting events. It's like we got to kind of pick and choose wisely, because we can't have one go and not all.
Right. Right. So I mean, what was that like? And then how did you figure out you're eventually going to go to school? Did you have any idea what you wanted to do early on?
Yeah. So, I mean, as we grew up, I mean, there's definitely more competition. We were all very much involved in sports, whether it's town or whether it's through the school that we went to, middle school and high school. I would say that it was definitely healthy competition, though. It taught us a lot to be a team player, and it's definitely, for me, gotten me to where I am today. So I had no idea at the start of everything growing up that I wanted to do business or marketing. That really came once I got to high school, and then went through the whole college application process. So I did go to school for business with a concentration in marketing. I went to George Washington University down in DC.
Oh, nice.
Being in a city,
Did you know, like, why choose that?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to be in a city. I wanted to be around things. I love doing things, whether it's traveling, whether it's being active. I mean, just, I guess being able to relax is definitely a struggle of mine, but I've gotten used to it, or I've gotten to do it more now, being quarantined.
Yeah, you have to, right?
There was always something to do. I mean, in DC, I mean, all the museums, the restaurants, the different areas. I mean, it was a really, really great time. And so that's something that I definitely knew I wanted to get out of my college experience. So I was down in DC. I was fortunate to study abroad. A lot of college programs have that. I was in London.
What was that like?
It was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a lot of traveling at the time, but again, for my business and marketing focus, it was a lot of understanding the different cultures, which is something that I'm really interested in. And it helped me with my work experience to be able to understand, how do you communicate in different regions, in different cultures, because nothing's going to be the same. I mean, you have to think from a larger perspective, and even now, for who are your economic buyers? Who are those people, and how do you position that messaging that's going to fit with them? We're a global company, so we have definitely efforts in Australia, in Asia, in Europe, and then of course in the US and Canada. So everyone, each region has to be looked at potentially differently, not just because of the language differences and some grammatical spelling, but again, the priorities for each region are different. So being abroad helped me definitely realize that. And then going back, I mean, being in DC, being in a city, I worked basically every semester. I tried to get as much work experience as I could to be able to complement with the courses that I was taking. And that I definitely really value and appreciate that I was able to do, whether it was figuring out what I like, but at the same time, figuring out what I don't like. I mean, there were definitely some jobs that I was like, okay, yeah, I learned a lot. I mean, you're going to do some grunt work. That's part of being an intern, but it was realizing, okay, this is the industry that I don't necessarily think I want to be in. So
what kind of things did you try? By the way, that's the best advice for the college people, is just like, try stuff. Did you have any crazy experience? Like any wacky jobs you tried that were like, well, this is not for me?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I did not do any type of experience working in politics or working on the Hill or anything like that. Maybe one of my regrets, but I was not a political science major or anything like that. That wasn't something that interested me too much to build my career out. I did some stuff in real estate investment, which I thought that's kind of the route that I wanted to go in, but realized that it wasn't. There are a lot of opportunities there. But I mean, even so, there were some like retail jobs that I had that it's you put yourself in a sales position, and with some quotas that you had to meet. And that definitely there was when I was like, not sure I necessarily want to be in sales. I enjoy very much talking to people, but being on your feet all day, that's something that I was like, okay, maybe I'll look into something different.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a variety of things. And I love that you said that it's, important to figure out what you like just as much as what you don't like. Like
Yeah.
eliminating something can be just as helpful. I realized
Yes.
early on, like I didn't like PR because it was all about connecting some really cool business person or someone who was doing amazing things with a really cool writer who's going to write all about it. And I was like, I would rather be one of those other two people than the one actually connecting them. Like I'll be the
Yep.
CEO person or I'll be the reporter person, but I don't want to be just like, hey, so and so meet so and so. Okay, I'll just step back and let you guys. I'm like, no, I want to be in that conversation. So I was like,
Yeah.
PR, not for me. So it's so helpful, to like figure out what you don't like just as much as what maybe you do.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So that's cool. I mean, DC, London, you've just traveling all over the place, just
Yep.
adding all the experiences into your backpack and
Oh
coming back
yeah.
to Boston. It's crazy. Um, if if you were to look back, um, it maybe you get a time machine. By the way, I do have a time machine up. It's up in New Hampshire. You can't come visit it now because quarantine. But later on, let me
Maybe
know.
once this all ends.
Yeah, exactly. You can rent it. It
Sounds
takes
good.
credit cards. If you could go back in
How about
time,
Venmo though?
Venmo, not yet, but we'll work on
Not
it.
yet.
We'll do Bitcoin too in a couple weeks.
Okay.
If you could hop back in a time machine and go back and visit yourself, like maybe at the beginning of when you first went to school, or even like maybe just as soon as you graduated, like beginning of your career, um, if you will, because I know you were working constantly throughout it. So wherever you want to go back in time, what would you advise yourself? Like, what would you tell yourself? You've been to so many places, you've seen so many things, you've tried so many jobs. What kind of advice would you have for yourself?
Yeah, so I have a few. I'd say first one would be take risks and be okay with being uncomfortable. I think I learned a lot about that when I was abroad, and I was at an American school abroad. So one thing there is that I wish that I looked at and considered more programs that were local. That was one thing that did make me nervous of being around people that, I mean, London, a lot of them it's English speaking, so that's not an issue, but doing something that was more immersive uh,
Yeah,
into the culture. But yeah, take those risks and be okay with not being 100% confident of the situation that you're going to be in, because you're going to grow a lot from that. And then another one would be to listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, and don't second guess anything. Because a lot of the time, you'll end up going back to that choice that you first thought of after going through and thinking of all the other options.
yeah,
And
and
then,
that's so true, right? You're like, oh, I knew that I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that.
yep, yeah, definitely. And then don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, things come up that can be out of your control, and it may be hard. You may have made that mistake, and it could have been really the human error, but it's all a learning experience. So take that and know next time, okay, I need to do this differently, but
Yeah,
that it's going to be okay. Especially in marketing, I think one of the biggest things one of my old coworkers always said to me was that it's just marketing. And yes, it is, and marketing is very important, but it's okay. Things happen, and you'll learn from it. You'll be able to turn it around and make the best of it.
yeah. Your marketing campaign might die, or it won't die. It might languish with a few clicks,
Yep.
but no one's actually dying, right? So,
Yeah.
and you can come back
Fortunately, we're
tomorrow,
not curing cancer or
right?
like the public service people right now that are helping, that are doing
Right.
great things for everyone that's going through the COVID-19. Um, so at the end of the day, it's just marketing.
Yeah, superheroes. But at the same time, we're kind of behind the scenes. Yeah, there's many stories
Yes.
of sometimes you might be helping someone um, help someone else, right? So like you've empowered maybe one of your clients is going to be doing some great things. So there's always that kind of like
Hmm.
connection, um,
Yeah, definitely.
especially if they sell widgets and you're like, I don't really care about widgets, but you care about people and the people in the
Hmm.
company that you're helping out. So
Yeah.
it's a good point. Man, that's awesome advice. You're like so wise, so
Well, thank
wise.
you.
Must be all the travel, all the crazy, uncomfortable experiences in
Yeah.
foreign lands.
Yeah. I'm very lucky for what's gotten me to where I am today and what will hopefully take me to where I go in the future. So,
Right, right. So let's talk about what you do when you're not at work and how it's has it changed or not. I know you're huge into fitness. You're huge into like ultra relays. You had one coming up in May, but like, what are you doing these days?
yeah, so I'm a very active person. So you touched on it, and I spoke about it a little bit before. But I'm training right now for an ultra marathon. It's 3,260 miles across the U.S. from California to New York for an organization called MS Run the U.S. So it's to fundraise for multiple sclerosis and those that are going through the research and support for those individuals and those organizations.
You're
And
going to
so
run 3,000 miles?
time is spent through training. But besides that, I mean, that
Wait,
experience.
hold on. You're going to run 3,260 miles?
No. It's a team of 19 people. Sorry, I forgot about that. So it's a team of 19 people. So I am one segment of that.
The world is getting out their calculators. How much does that mean you're?
Yeah, so it's my segment's 188 miles in 7 days. So, but unfortunately, right now, given everything, it's been postponed indefinitely.
I know.
The best interest of the runners and the health of the crew, communities, and families. But it's a great organization. Definitely check it out.
What's it called?
MS Run the US.
Okay.
Great organization, spreading awareness about MS that a lot of people may not know about, and to support and fundraise for them. So it's a great organization that I'm really happy to be involved in.
Yeah, shout out to those guys and gals. Like, that's awesome. That's a great cause for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And to do it in some active way, that's awesome. Have you been able to stay active?
Yes, I've been lucky, at least in Boston. We, our shelter in place isn't not allowing us to be outside.
Nice.
So I've been running a lot outside, which is nice, and thankful for the weather that we're in. I did go through a lot of dealing with the New England winters, but it's taught me a lot about myself, which it's been great. And again, goes before of all the experience that I've had, it's gotten me to where I am today.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for. So, but aside from all that, I very much like to cook and try new recipes. Cooking and baking. I get a lot of my recipes from my grandmother. So those that are passed down, cook for many of the big holidays for my family, which I really enjoy. And it goes again, I am very much a family oriented. So spending time with family and friends, whether it's watching a sporting event, going to the movies, walking around the city, anything like that, just being with them is really important to me.
Do you have a favorite baking recipe?
Favorite baking recipe? I am very much known for my ice cream cakes. So I make those for many of my family and friends' birthdays.
How do you, wait, so is that kind of like the Carvel ones?
People get confused. So I don't make the ice cream on my own. It's more putting the cake together. So I do make the Oreo layer and then put the ice cream on, and then make the whatever frosting it may be, and then decorate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it feel wrong murdering all those Oreos, or does it work out in the
a
end?
little bit, but they taste really good when you mix them with butter. So think butter.
Oh wow! Well, you put butter with it? Is that what keeps it all together?
That's what keeps it all together. So. But yeah, that's one of my top recipes as for baking.
Geez, that sounds healthy.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome. I guess if you're running every day.
So it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that too.
That's awesome.
We talked about before. I mean, I love to travel. I love exploring new cities. So that was one thing I definitely got more into when I was abroad. It is on my bucket list to go to all 7 continents, including Antarctica, believe it or not.
Hell yeah.
I'm in. There. So I've hit, I believe, 4 of them. So I have Antarctica, South America, and Africa still to go to. So we'll see. But now with the travel bans, it may be a little hard for this year.
Right.
But I got plenty of time. So.
Well, I was supposed to be going and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in July. Wow. July 27th. If you want to add that to your list.
I definitely.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but hopefully by July we're out and about. That'd be fantastic. But yeah. Same here. I haven't been to Africa. Love to go, and then just booked a trip, booked a flight. And so
that's awesome.
If everyone's feeling better, I'm hopping on a flight. 30,000 hours worth. Yeah.
I hope so for you.
But yeah, Africa, Antarctica too. I just saw, I don't know if you've seen, there's some like YouTube travel people on YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of them. There's this couple named Kara and Nate.
Okay, I'll check it out.
They just went to Antarctica on this like super cool ship excursion, but it was like several days, and they would set up different events every day. Like one, they could do like a quick polar bear plunge, hop off the side of the ship, and they were roped up, and they climb back up so they could be in the Antarctic for like a second. And like, they're like,
Oh,
wow,
wow.
but they give them a shot before they go so they can have a little, and then another time they actually gave them sleeping bags and they found like land. They would land on Antarctica several times and they like camped out overnight on Antarctica.
Oh, wow. Like, that's really cool. But it's all the
Yeah.
experiences. I mean, it's part of, I don't know, it makes you who you are. So for those people that are adventurous like that, it's kind of like, why not?
Right.
So,
And
and the lessons that you learned are invaluable.
totally. Do you have that same paradox where you're like, wow, the world is so big, but also so small at the same time?
Yes, and I've even gotten that from being in Boston, which is crazy. I mean, Boston's not a huge city. It's nothing like New York. It's nothing like LA. But at the same
Thank
time,
God.
so much to see. I know.
Boston.
Oh yeah. But no, I definitely believe in that.
Speaking of Boston, I don't know if it's too soon, but our beloved GOAT has gone down to Tampa.
I know. It's tough. I will say that I have one of the TB12 water bottles and I have not used it, unfortunately. So
yeah,
we'll see if it gets used again, but maybe someone in Tampa wants that.
I know, seriously. I had to unfollow him on Instagram because it's just too much. I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to see all this stuff. I don't. Oh, thanks, guys. No, I know. You're.
Yeah.
I'll be good. Just give me 5 years. I'll recover from this.
Yeah.
And he
I
did
will
it while
say,
we're
I
in
mean, I'm
COVID
very
too.
lucky. Yeah, I'm very lucky for the things I've seen in my lifetime growing up in Boston and the championships that we've won. My dad will tell my sisters and I that, being like, you guys don't really know anything else, which I don't.
No, we don't. We're so spoiled.
It may be good to be kind of optimistic about the whole thing, to be able to see how things are rebuilt,
Right.
and where achievements can still be made.
For sure. And we still have Belichick, right? Knock on
Yes,
my
that is true.
desk.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I hope this counts. So here, drywall, just in case. Stay with us, Belichick.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he leaves in like say 50 years, or maybe after I'm dead and gone, that'll be fine, Belichick. And then you can depart.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably just switch to MLS soccer or something.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I don't want to. We'll be like the Cleveland Browns at that point. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
Ohio.
all they keep playing are all the reruns on ESPN and everything. So we were actually watching the Super Bowl over the weekend, and we were like, we know what happens, but we were like, that catch was best catch of all time of Edelman. So when you watch, and then you realize what those little things were that he did, and we was like, wow, that is actually unbelievable.
Hell yeah, and the interceptions and I actually went to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis.
Oh wow,
they lost the Eagles, but it was like an amazing experience to
yeah, definitely.
And now we don't get another one. Well, maybe we will.
I know.
Maybe in a couple years. We'll build it back up. We'll find some other Tom Brady, some other TB12 out there. He's just graduating high school right now.
Oh yeah.
Hurry up and get in our team. Awesome. Well, hey, where can people connect with you? What are some good platforms for them to reach out, connect, learn more?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on LinkedIn. It's Allison Gosman with one S. You can also, I are the company's Financial Recovery Technologies. So Casey mentioned earlier, www.frtservices.com.
Yep.
And for myself as well, I'm on Instagram at Allie Gosman. So that's ALLYGOSMAN. I'm on Twitter as at Allie_Goss. And those are really the main platforms that I'm on. But definitely feel free to reach out. I'm on Facebook as well, Allie Gosman, if you can find me. Give me a friend request. I'm always open to having a discussion, and I basically will accept anyone.
Yeah, super welcoming.
Who knows who I could meet? So happy to have a conversation, whether it's marketing related, life related, you name it.
Fitness, marathon. Maybe they want to sponsor your run for sure, when it eventually happens, hopefully soon.
I know. Cross your fingers.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on here and just kind of sharing your knowledge on conversational marketing and chatting podcasts and all those good things with us.
Yeah, no, thanks, Casey, for having me. This was awesome. It's the first podcast I've been on. Second, I was on a webinar with Qualified. For people who are interested in learning more about conversational marketing, definitely go check that out. But this has been a great experience, and it's definitely going to be the future. So I look forward to doing more and getting more experience and more involved in them.
Hell yeah. And for those listening, if you learned something, and I know you did because I literally have 2 pages of notes over here, then share this with someone. Be a thought leader to one person or 2 people or like 100 people or 1,000. Hey, whatever number you want to pick, but share this. Be the person that shares content and insight and wisdom with other people. Just because you heard it here, now you can pass it on. Now you're the source. So awesome. Thank you again, Allie. This is like so much fun. We'll have to check back in and talk through marathons and sports post we get out of this thing and hopefully soon.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to be here and happy to help in whatever way you need down the road.
All right. You bet. You bet. For everyone listening, this has been the Hardcore Marketing Show. We will catch you all next time.
All right. A big thank you to today's sponsors. Cheshire Impact, helping marketers and sales win, maximizing the use of Pardot and Salesforce. And a big thank you to Qualified.com, the #1 live chat and chatbot platform for Salesforce and Pardot. Remember the giveaway. If you have Salesforce Pardot and you want a free copy of my book, Marketing Automation Unleashed, then you go over to Qualified.com, engage in a chat, do a demo, and tell them that Casey sent you, and that book will be on its way to your door. All right. We'll see you all in the next one.